and tell you what's already on the screen, but I am going to just kind of announce their name and have them wave a little bit. And those of you who are prospective students, what I would say is just make note of kind of where they're from and what their major is, and you're going to have a lot of time to interact with them. So go connect with someone who has something in common with you, right? So Trey Balson. Hello. Where's Andres back there? Rosemarie. Kylie.
Hello.
And Jade. Jade was on an early crew today, so she may not be in the room. Xander. Xander, sans glasses. Marcos, you're going to get to meet him in kind of a new way in a little bit. He is actually in DC this semester. Where's Lucy? You're going to hear a lot from Lucy this evening. Austin. And Catherine's not able to be with us. She's on a PhD visit. So those are our seniors. You'll hear a lot more about them. And then our juniors. Where's Amber? Amber. Edgar. Taylor is in DC this semester. She is also doing an internship there with the Archer program. Kurt.
Woohoo!
Natalie's also in DC. Eileen. All right, our photographer, roving photographer this afternoon. Katie. Katie was on an early crew today, so you'll see her at dinner. Daisy. There's Daisy. Christian. There. And Jack. There you go. So those are our juniors. So those are our upper division students. And then our second year students, Alana, Nathan, Mufado, Lindy, and Hugh. All right. Haley. Where's Haley at the check-in desk? The bright shiny face up there. Josh, Ritty, Annalisa, and Brennan. And now our first year students. This is their first go at being on the other side of the curtain, as I noticed. So, Johannes, Abraham, Emily, Grace, and Victy. Madeline, Tristan, Ethan, Dylan, and Catherine. All right, so thank you, scholars. I mentioned a couple of these students who are in DC, so they were very sad they couldn't be here. They were sad enough that they were even sad that we couldn't buy them a plane ticket if they wanted to. So instead, we wanted to do what we thought of might be the next best thing and have them greet you from afar. So see if I can figure this out. John with John. Try again.
Originally from Austin, Texas, but I'm studying public health and computer science at UTSA. I am interning at the office of the National Coordinator.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, take 3.
Hi y'all, my name is Natalie Mallory. I'm originally from Austin, Texas, but I'm studying public health and computer science at UTSA. I am interning at the office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology, and I think my favorite part of Archer has to be how experiential learning is incorporated in all our classes and the engaging conversations I have with students from all over Texas. All right, good luck.
Hey y'all, my name is Taylor Helkamp. I am studying Global Affairs, Russian, and Linguistics at UTSA. And I'm originally from McAllen, Texas, down in the south. And while I'm in DC, I'm interning with the State Department and the Bureau of European and Eurasian Affairs. My favorite part about the Archer experience is being in an international city while getting to see domestic politics at play. And all I want to say to y'all is good luck. Some of y'all are going to be top scholars. It'll be awesome.
Hi, my name is Marcos Mullen, and I'm a senior at UTSA studying public administration and economics. I'm originally from San Antonio, considered my hometown. While here in DC, I'm interning at the Heritage Foundation Legal Center, and one of the best parts about the Archer experience is the camaraderie with other Archer fellows, the intellectual discussions, and how rewarding that can be. All I have to say for y'all is good luck.
All right, so they're having a good time. we have been very fortunate and had students that were anxious to be a part of that Archer Fellow program, and so pretty much every year we have had scholars that go, and there are already some on track to go next year. So this is something, and students of virtually any major can go. So what to expect today? You all were hopefully welcomed with open arms. So that was our arrival and reception. Then my little kind of rundown of what to expect for the afternoon. You're going to hear from Dr. Kelly, and then our partner out of admissions. And then we're going to split you up, parents and students, and it won't be too scary. They're just going next door. So that we can have some quality like Q&A time where parents can ask those embarrassing questions that their students would go, oh, you asked that question, and the students could ask those questions that the parents would go, ask the question. So we split you up for that reason, and then we all come back together and have a great dinner this evening with our university administrators and faculty. So tomorrow and Tuesday, each of you as candidates have had a individualized schedule designed just for you. That is within your folder, so you will come onto campus, have kind of some behind the scenes tours. You will spend a lot more time with our current scholars, and then you'll also have the opportunity to interview with the panel, meet faculty members, go to classes, things like that. Events tomorrow are for our candidates only, so there are lots of things in the area for parents who don't like have a job to go to that, you know, if you're local, you can just go to work. But if, you know, you want to check out La Cantera Mall, that's a beautiful mall. If you're brave enough to venture downtown, you can afford this Riverwalk and lots of things for you to do there. You could also take a self-guided tour through our Welcome Center if you're interested in doing that. Parents, students, you'll be busy. And you won't, and I should say, candidates, you won't be by yourself at any point in the process. So you will be with other scholars from the moment you are met at our Welcome Center all the way to when we drop you back off at the Welcome Center. Okay? So some other really fun housekeeping things. The bathrooms that are on the floor, this floor here, are currently out of service. So just right, if you kind of go behind you and right across that bridge, there are restrooms right there. So a little further away, but still close enough we can get to them if we need it. Your parking swipe cards. If our guests would look at the back of your name tag, there is a parking validation card in there. And what you're going to do, there's going to be a machine like this in the garage, and the little card that you got when you went into the garage, the swipe card thing, you're going to take that along with the validation card we gave you to the machine. You will insert the card you got when you went into the garage, scan the parking validation card, and your swipe card will pop back out as paid. Okay. Anyone who needs those tomorrow, we will provide them for you as well tomorrow and Tuesday. We have a school absence letter ready for you to go. We provide those to the candidates when you check out. The dinner table number where you've been assigned as well as your dietary restrictions are all also in the back of your name cards. Did everyone here turn in a photo release? Yes? Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And at the very end of the night, we'll have someone ready to escort you. So now another introduction to kind of what you're going to hear a lot more about over the next several hours. So I want to just introduce you to the Honors College.
Award-winning, academically talented, exceptional servant leaders. The Honors College at UTSA houses two premier scholarship programs, the Top Scholars and the Terry Scholars. In addition to receiving scholarship aid, students engage in community, mentorship, and professional personal development. As a prospective student, this could be you.
The transition to college can be a little stressful at times. Here's where it's very beneficial to be a UTSA scholar. As a scholar, you have access to your program coordinators. And these coordinators are there to help you from everything from academics and research to professional development and finding mentors. They can even help you with personal matters, stressful situations, and achieving your goals. Another thing about being a scholar is access to the Honors College, which you can use for anything you need, including their staff, faculty, events, and programming.
As a UTSA scholar, there are many different fun activities that you can partake in. For example, the Terry Scholars and the Top Scholar Student Organizations both have lots of events that help bring students together and network. Within these organizations, each do service, socials, and fundraisers, amongst many other things. For examples for service events, oftentimes students will go and volunteer at places like the Food Bank or Haven for Hope, or even do donation drives. For our socials, we have lots of fun activities such as the Rice Festival, outings to the football games, as well as holiday gatherings.
Academics are a focal point of our programs here at UTSA. While we help you find your passion, we also prepare you to apply to prestigious scholarships and programs around the world. You will have access to our Director of Nationally Competitive Awards and Fellowships and many other research programs here at UTSA. We strive to make you the best in your career. On top of all that, you will have many benefits such as priority registration. This means that you will be amongst the first students to pick your classes each semester. You will also live in community with your peers within honors housing. Another benefit of being a UTSA scholar is that you will have access to individual mentors. These are just a couple of benefits of being a UTSA scholar. Here are a couple of my peers.
Hi, my name is Trey Baldwin. I studied abroad in Ireland in spring 2018.
Hi, my name is Ali Gomez Luna. I'm a part of the 2018 Terry Scholar Cohort. In the spring of 2019, I went to Stanford to participate in so many conferences as an IES fellow, and I also presented my research on unaccompanied minors.
Hi, my name is Evan Garza, and I'm a part of the class of 2021 Top Scholars. In the fall and spring of 2018, I was able to shadow the San Antonio Spurs team positions and learn about the field of sports medicine.
Hi, my name is Amber Chen, and I'm part of the Top Scholar class of 2021. This past summer, I spent about 3 months in Germany participating in a social psychology internship.
Hello, my name is Natalie Barra. I'm part of the fall 2015 Terry Cohort, and I'm currently in the Masters of Arts in Communication program at UTSA.
I'm Cameron, and I'm a software engineer at Google. I'm working on data pipelines and deep neural networks to process and understand speech data.
To be one of our scholars, you must first be accepted to UTSA. For further eligibility requirements, please visit our website at honors.utsa.edu.
So that's just a little taste of what you're going to hear a lot more in detail about today. Our top scholars and our Terry scholars work very closely together, so in fact we even live together. And so that's why you kind of see that mix, even though tonight we don't really have the Terry scholars with us. Their selection process is a little different. So welcome. We are very, very glad that you're here. And with that, we will move on to the next folks that are joining us. And so I think next on our list is Louisa is going to come up and talk. So she's got to load her, give us just a moment, she's got to load the presentation. Good evening or afternoon. We're gonna flip the script a little bit. Dr. Kelly, can I ask you to go ahead and come up, and we're gonna call the tech because we don't have access to where she needs to put the
Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome to UTSA. Again, my name is Sean Kelly. I'm the Dean of the Honors College. I welcome you here. I want to talk a little bit about the philosophy of the college as a whole and our philosophy of student development here, because it is significantly different than probably a lot of other ones that you have looked at. When most people think about honors education or advanced education, I think what they think of is, you know, IB classes, AP classes, maybe dual enrollment type things. And And they think the segregation model, where students just, you take a bunch of smart kids, put them all in the class together over here. They take Introduction to Philosophy Honors, and somehow Introduction to Philosophy Honors makes them a superstar. And we don't really completely believe that just taking honors courses makes the honors who they are or what they are. So I'm going to go back. I got into honors education over 13 years ago, and it was an interesting time in terms of how universities were thinking about technology, how the universities were thinking innovation, but also it was right around the time of not only a super crazy housing market, but then shortly thereafter housing collapse that left a lot of people thinking about college quite differently and thinking about careers quite differently. I was lucky in that I got to actually start from scratch a whole honors college. And so rather than go out and look what honors colleges did, we did some scouting that way first. But then what we did is we just focus grouped honors students and said, who do you want to be 4 years from now? What do you want to do? Because we didn't know if there was any connection between what was happening in honors classrooms across the country and what honors students said they wanted. Our honors students said they wanted to go to law school, they wanted to go to med school, they wanted to go to vet school, they wanted to go to dental school, they wanted to work on Wall Street, they wanted to work for these tech giants, they wanted to be in Silicon Valley, they wanted to go to graduate school, you name it, but it was all that stuff, right? There was a lot we didn't hear, even amongst these top students. We didn't hear, I want a full ride to graduate school. We did not hear that I want to make sure I get out of law school debt-free. They didn't say, I want a Truman Scholarship, a Rhodes Scholarship, a Fulbright Scholarship. They didn't say that I want to study abroad and be in a research lab before I get out of college, right? So we knew in honors college that it had one goal, it had to be education. It had to be telling, especially first generation students, what they needed to be thinking about early on as end goals and what their peers were thinking about. We were hearing a lot of things like this. This is crazy. Hey, when I'm a senior, I'm going to do an internship because at first I just want to get good grades. Just want to get good grades. At your level and for the things that you want in life, grades are an excluder now, not an includer. When you apply 4 years from now, 3 years from now for a prestigious internship, there's going to be 200 applicants there, and they're going to say, just bring me in all the ones with 3.5 or better GPAs. So all of a sudden, everyone's got the same GPA effectively. So your GPA just gets you not cut, right? Rhodes Scholarship, it's a 3.9, so you better know if you want a Rhodes Scholarship, your freshman year, you have to know you want that. I'll go to a Goldwater Scholarship. Goldwater's a little lower, probably 3.7. Goldwater, for those of you who don't know, it's for best science students in the country. They give out about 280 of them, but if you break up the disciplines in science and engineering, that's about 8 to 12 per discipline. We got 2 of those last year, and it's, but you apply for that your sophomore and junior year and you need research. So if you're waiting till your senior year to do research, you're missing it. So one of the things that we then did is we went out and got the bios of the actual people who got those things. We went out and looked. What did a kid who got into law school the first year with funding, what did their resume look like? What did the last class of Truman Scholars resumes look like? And what we found, first thing was confirmed, none of them listed anywhere in there that they took Introduction to Philosophy honors. Okay, so it wasn't as big a deal to put that down. But what they had is what we now use the acronym SPICES for. They had SPICES. And SPICES really are just signature experiences in 6 key areas. S, service. Service is far more important than you can even think about. Cameron, who was just out there from Google, one of the things they said in his interview for Google, which by the way, Google does some weird interviewing. One of the reasons he's there is because he did 4 alternative spring breaks while he was here. So it's not just that he was a coder, they thought he would fit into the company's culture. That NSF scholarship, which is a scholarship, full ride to graduate school in the sciences, the very first cut last year in the application, actually it's the second cut. The first one was they got rid of the unqualified people. Then when they looked at the qualified people, the first cut was, did they show demonstrated commitment to the public good, right? Because after all, this is government money going to scientists. So ultimately, service is important. I use those two examples just because, I mean, I think it's obvious. We had 2 Truman finalists last year. It was super cool. We're the only university in Texas with 2 Truman finalists. Truman finalists are the top 200 public servant university students in their sophomore and junior year in the country. We're the only one who had 2 in Texas. One other university in Texas had to cheat and go to the Oregon district to get their second one, and that was Rice. But service is important. The second thing is professional development, right? Professional development, especially, by the way, those of you in the business college now, HR managers are hiring through internship programs. A lot of top students know that, so they know to get into a competitive internship program between your junior and senior year, you need to be in a pretty darn good one between your sophomore and your junior, right? And which means you need to have the skills to be able to interview for that. Those students who went to Archer, they went through an interview process, and 2 of our students did not make the Archer program last year. And the number one thing that they both had in common, neither of them had ever had jobs. So they couldn't get through the interview process, right? So you have to work on that professional development. The I, intellectual achievement beyond your GPA. We're going to know your GPA. Everyone in this room, you know what? You mastered the classroom. Congratulations. We know that. We're not going to continue to reward you for something you're already super good at, right? That's almost like cheating, right? We want to help you move on to the next level, right? And so ultimately, we want to put you in a position where you can show what you know. If you're a music major, we want you outperforming, right? If you're a scientist, we want you in a lab. If you're an entrepreneur, we want you working with mentors, writing a business plan, being out with a startup, right? We want you to have the kinds of things on your resume that show people on the other side that the stuff you learned in the classes supplemented a talent you already have, and you can demonstrate with that talent that you've used those tools that you found. The C, cultural exploration. Cultural exploration is obviously vital. We value that quite a bit. As you know, today, you can tweet something, and in 45 seconds, it can be translated into another language and read on the other side of the globe, right? If you are not an effective global citizen, who your boss doesn't feel confident that they can send to China for 6 weeks on a project, you're operating in a different world than the world we actually live in, right? I mean, I remember the first time my boss said to me, "Oh yeah, you're going to Nicaragua next week," right? And I was like, "Oh, this is great, this is wonderful." A friend of mine, not so culturally explorative, was flipping out, "Oh my God, you're going to Nicaragua!" You know, we want you to be the kinds of people who feel confident and comfortable using the globe as an outlet for not only your growth, but for your talents. E, engaged living. The one thing we were kind of shocked when we looked at bios, the vast majority of those people, you would think, oh my God, they don't have time. They not only had time, they had engaged, intentional lifestyle choices that were manifest in accomplishments. They were marathoners. They were musicians. They wrote plays, right? In other words, this is what you started to realize. These were people who said no more than they said yes to other people's interests, right? You know, a lot of us feel like selfish when we do that, right? We're going through high school and everyone's telling us what to do, and we do it, and we do it, and we do it. These were the kind of people who said, you know what, these are my values. And because of that, these are the things I'm going to say yes to. Which means, yeah, I'm probably not going to go out and eat pizza every single night if what I'm doing is train for a marathon, right? If that's what I value. Barath, who got a full ride to Baylor Med last year, top scholar. Barath was also a classical Indian dancer, right? Who danced at Kennedy. You know what I mean? These very important to show those things. I always tell this story, and I emphasize this a lot. So, my last 2 jobs, the person in charge of hiring me most, the person who had the biggest say, talked to me about running for more than half the year in both cases. Why? Because at that level, people know you're qualified. You got through the qualified. Now they're going to go, okay, are we going to work with you for the next 12 years, right? And then finally, the S, skills. They had skills that they could just demonstrate. And some of those were not necessarily professional skills. A lot of those are personal skills. I use Santi, I love this story. Santi came to me once, he's a great student, he's, totally could have been a 4.0, one of the most brilliant people I've ever known. But every single semester, he screwed up one class, and could never figure out why. So I said, Santi, how you doing? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm not doing so well in this one class. And I said, Santi, why can't you just get a 4.0? And he said, well, this semester it's because of my welding class. And I said, okay, well, Santi, you're a bio major, but we don't teach welding here. So where is this welding class? And he was taking a welding class at the community college, and I said, why are you doing this? He said, because I don't want all the art in my house to be made by other people. And it was really kind of profound for me to hear that from him, and it really changed how I thought about his trajectory. And he's off finishing his PhD in biochemistry at USC, I think, right now. So obviously didn't lose too bad. So those are some things that we're going to emphasize in our curriculum. So our curriculum, though we do have honors classes, when we have a professor do an honors class, we push them to make them experiential so that the student has something that they're taking out of it. We do a lot of service classes, study away classes, study abroad. We have a class that goes out into the desert. We had a class this semester, one of our writing classes. It was a fun class too. Have you ever read a bad technical manual? Like on Christmas, you wake up, you got this great thing that you got to put together and figure it out, and then you realize the person who wrote the directions couldn't write, right? or the person who translated the directions couldn't translate one or the other, right? And so you're reading this, and you're like, oh my God, what do we do? So a lot of our students are in fields where they have to do that, right? That kind of writing. And so we thought, what better way to teach step-by-step directions and the importance of those than by having the students write a cookbook. So we had them work with a writer and a semi-professional chef and come up with not only menus and design and learn layout and design, which was an added benefit, but they also wrote the directions, and basically as one group was writing one half of the cookbook, the other one was using it and finding out all the ways in which it didn't work and how you forgot to put this ingredient in and whatnot. So they learned quite a bit about how to do basic technical writing, and you can imagine how important that is for an engineer, right? So we have classes, but the very vast majority of what we do is we coach students to go out and find opportunities. UTSA is going to offer thousands of them. And as you talk to the top scholars, you're going to hear all the ones that they did. That's great. Go out and do the alternative swim rigs, do the archery program, legislative scholars, work in labs with professors. But also, we want you to start to think about, who do I want to be, and what's the right path for me, and then what are the experiences out there that I should be looking for that are the right ones for me. So you might, choose an REU at MIT or something like that because that's a lab you might want to go and work in graduate school. Or you might say, you know what, I don't want to study abroad. I want to work abroad and go through BUNIAC and get a work permit for the summer. There's so many options out there. So we ask our students to acquire at least 6, but generally, honestly, top scholars get about 10 signature experiences before they graduate. And what that does is it sets them up nicely. And 6 was not a random number. That was about what the 75th percentile of people who accomplished great things had on their transcript. It was about, or their CD. It's about 6, maybe 7 signature experiences. And that showed a career trajectory, that were progressively important. So that's what we do. Our honors college is a lot more like, in our mind, we're a lot more like athletics than we are like, say, the English department. We recruit talented students. We help develop those students. We put them on the stage to compete nationally. We hope that some of our students want to stay in San Antonio, but we want to make sure, even if you stay in San Antonio, that we can put you up against the best people across the country, and you'll succeed. And we're finding we're having not only no problem succeeding, we're doing very, very well. And I would attribute no small part of it, not just to the work we do and the awesomeness of the university, but also the student body of that we have here, and being in the 7th largest city in the United States puts a whole lot of resources available to our students in terms of where they can internship and how they want to develop, right? So you're in a student body that looks like America is looking, right? The strength of learning in a diverse environment is something that employers want to capitalize on. That's why Google comes to our campus and recruits. That's why Boeing comes to our campus and recruits, because they know they're going to get a workforce that can work in a 21st century human economy. And so we're really excited about where we are and where we're going. As far as the top scholars go, one thing I think you should be thrilled about a program like this is it kind of can act as the uranium in the reactor. It's very nice to be around a lot of students who've not only accomplished these things, but they've done something, their folks in front of them have done those things, the people in front of them have done those things, and so what you're starting to see is that freshmen and sophomores can make much larger jumps now than even like 5 or 6 years ago, because they're learning from people who've learned from people who've learned from them. So that's the nice thing. Now I think, Christy, I'm gonna turn it over to Louisa.
Louisa's next.
And we can answer questions later.
So how's everyone doing tonight? Good. Today, mid-afternoon, right? So my name is Luisa Ramirez. I'm a senior undergraduate admissions counselor, particularly in the freshman recruitment, and I'm actually based out of the Rio Grande Valley. So I have been doing this for a very, very long time, and I also did graduate from UTSA. So I'm going to talk to you about all the fun things that students can do, and obviously the research, and things that parents also want to know. So let's kick it off. So San Antonio. I know we're the 7th largest city in the nation, great opportunities, and we're actually striving and moving to being the 6th largest city in the state. In the nation. We're currently the 2nd largest in the state of Texas, which, again, like Dr. Kelly mentioned, creates lots of opportunities for students. So, if you've never been to UTSA, welcome. Thank you for coming. Here in the big orange square in the north end of San Antonio is where you are at. This is where the main campus is. We also have Park West, which is where student athletes practice. And we have our downtown campus and the Institute of Texan Cultures. So all this is part of UTSA. There's free admission to the museum. It's a Smithsonian affiliated museum. It's a state museum, and really cool things to see in there. But yeah, this is part of the university as well. Primarily classes are only taken at the main and downtown, depending on the major. So we have a little over 32,000 students on campus. And I know that seems large, that seems big, but being part of Honors College or Top Scholar really brings it down a little bit to a smaller community. So you don't have to feel lost or anything like that. We also have 86 countries represented throughout UTSA with students, faculty, and staff. So you can find your niche somewhere in the university or create some type of organization to belong to if you want to. And we're also ranked number 2 as the safest colleges in the state of Texas, and number 30 in the nation. Really cool things that we have to help our students out, and I even use it as a staff member, is we have a LiveSafe app that allows me to maybe send to Christy if I'm walking to my car late at night and she sees my little avatar moving, and if I don't get there to that destination within 5-10 minutes, then it alerts her to kind of be aware Louisa didn't make it to her car. So really cool things that we have, and we have lots of safety features on campus. We're also nationally ranked for producing the highest number of Hispanic engineers. And we have over 160 areas of study. And this is all from bachelor's through PhD programs. So when you applied, seniors, right? Incoming freshmen, you saw the entire list of what we have to offer in Applied Texas. Sorry, I move a lot. So you could see what we had to offer. And some of it, maybe you knew what you wanted, some of it you probably don't, or you're just curious about it. Really cool things, you don't have to completely know, but these are new degrees that we are highlighting that came out this year. So we have artificial intelligence, cyber intelligence. If you didn't know, UTSA is ranked number 1 nationally for cybersecurity. Really cool thing. So we also have cybersecurity offered as an online program as well. Data science, neuroscience, and public administration and policy. We combined a couple, we reformatted that degree. So what's new at UTSA? We have our science and engineering building that opens up this coming fall. It's going to be 2 levels. It's going to be the home to our brain health science research area. And we also are opening up a new residential hall, Guadalupe Hall. And so that's all the construction you see as you're coming in from the north end of the campus. So that'll open up in fall 2022. Little Birdie has told me this is where the 4th Starbucks is going to be housed. So if you're into coffee and that's important to you, maybe you want to, consider this. So our students are provided with free transportation throughout the entire city. We have an agreement with RB of us, public transportation, and the 93 and the 94 are actually the ones that take you from the main and to the downtown back and forth. I know it personally because I've taken it myself. So, and really cool things. If you ever want to go venture out around campus and aren't bringing a car and want to go support the San Antonio Spurs or go to the Riverwalk, you get to go do that. So we also have a new college for this coming year that's forming, our College for Health and Community Policy. And so these are the areas of study that are going to be housed in this new college. So we're just kind of reformatting a little bit. So just want to give you a few minutes to look at that. And yeah, really cool things happening at UTSA, new changes. So let's talk about experiences and resources for the students. Whoops. Okay, so here we have some of our virtual reality from our labs that students can partake in and utilize when we're updating like Google Earth. So they kind of get to update that and have first-hand experience with that. Really cool things that they're doing. I wish this was around when I was a student. We also have a kinesiology student here that is participating in undergraduate research. And we're testing the velocity from the way he kicked all the way to like how the muscles worked. And so this is stuff that students can be doing from their freshman year. Obviously, as top scholar students, hopefully, if you're a recipient, this is something that you're going to be able to partake in, even as a Terry or an honors student. We also have a site, which is a $100,000 challenge. We partner up engineers with our business students in creating something innovative for the medical side of the house, I guess you could say. And so a couple of years back, there was this one group that invented this cool nifty project. It was, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like a claw-looking thing that would come up, take out your eye contact, rinse it, and put your eye contact back. But that actually went into production, and so students that won that project obviously got recognized. We have companies that come and scout out the talent from UTSA. They get signed on for internships or job promotions, and they also patent the project, and so that's what $100,000 goes back for. Really cool stuff. What else can you do? Study abroad. Dr. Kelly talked about experiences. This is a group of our students out and studying abroad in India. Then we have this group that went out to Peru. We get to travel, learn about the cultures, learn about how you're impacting globally, not just within your local community, but maybe make an impact with others. This is one of our top scholars right now. She was studying in South Africa. Beautiful picture. So involvement. How many of you are currently involved, which I'm assuming is most of you, in some type of club or organization in your high school? Pretty much everybody, right? So this is something that I really do recommend for students to continue on when you're in college. Dr. Kelly talked about the career side. That's something that I did before. I recruited students. Actually, I recruited the companies, I recruited the students at UTSA. So a lot of what I heard from the companies, and this could be Fortune 100 companies, they didn't want just a 4.0 student. They wanted somebody that had the academics, but also had that real life experience. So internships are very, very important. Get your hands wet in whatever field you're going into, get the experience, branch out, make some, branch out your network. So let me show you a quick video.
You actually get so much more from getting involved than just spending time outside of school. It's really a secondary education that you kind of give yourself. You give yourself opportunities to become a leader, make friends, and those friends can help you with school. And I just implore you to get involved because you meet faculty, you can make those connections, and they really help you in your career as you go forward as a Roadrunner.
They have tons of opportunities to make friends, to get you plugged in into the community, allow you to discover new things around campus. So I would definitely say that utilizing campus resources has helped me to adjust well, and especially with my parents being away, that has been super helpful.
Once I stepped onto UTSA's campus, I fell in love with this campus. I felt the liveliness and just how happy everyone seemed, and I saw that the campus was ready to serve the students. We have so many different services here. There's tutoring, and there's not even just like one tutoring center. There's like multiple tutoring centers, And so just seeing that and seeing how UTSA caters to its students and makes sure that the students are succeeding, I looked at that and I saw that and I was like, yep, this is my school.
You don't have to say just mine, right? You're in front of a student. So a little bit about involvement again. We have over 350 student organizations, and for those that are interested in supporting our Roadrunners in athletics, we have 17 athletic teams, and we're NCAA Division I athletic school. So traditions, right? What makes us unique? What makes us a little bit different? So there's lots of things that we have at UTSA. Let me go back real quick. This picture here is Fiesta, and it's Fiesta UTSA. So this past year, UTSA celebrated, or actually the city of San Antonio celebrated 300 years of existence. And it's celebrating the culture and the diversity of the city. And so UTSA, what a lot of people don't know, has the first kickoff event that kicks off the entire Fiesta San Antonio. It's 10 days of celebrating your culture, and it can be parades, festivals, food festivals, music, dances. So it's a lot of fun, and this is what we had on campus. So Midnight Light, this happens the night before school starts, and it's a celebration to kick off the entire school year. And it's also welcoming our new Roadrunners for the new school year as well. And so there's a lot of fun, a lot of dancing, fireworks, and there's a countdown to midnight. So it's a lot of fun. The students actually proposed this, and it went all the way up to the president to get it approved a few years back. Alumni ring ceremony. So when you're getting ready to graduate, we have a ceremony to acknowledge and bless your rings, if you could say. And if you want your ring to spend the night in the Alamo, in downtown, it can. And it's a fun tradition for students, and alumni's involved, staff's involved, but you get to wear it with pride because you're showing the ring off that you graduated. Howdy Rowdy Bash. This is a fun event also that happens at the beginning of the school year. We kick off things with lots of celebrations. And it's just an introduction for students to get acclimated to the school, but also meet other folks and go and have fun. So the last couple of years, we've actually closed down Fiesta Texas Six Flags to have this event. And we have some fun celebrities that come and perform. So the kids get to go ride any ride they want. It's closed down just for UTSA community. It's a lot of fun. And then we're also introducing our new athletes for the school year. So living on campus. That's a fun picture, right? Because you're doing your own laundry. So we have lots of communities, housing communities on campus. As with Honors College, you'll obviously have to live in one location, but I feel like I'm baiting you here just by showing you the different options. But you do get to live in Chaparral Village if you're in Honors College. Where am I? And you know what's so cool about that? You're actually close to the cafeteria. So if you love food, you're right there. So a couple of student spotlights. We have Gabriela Torres from Port Isabel. And Gabriela here, she's coming from a small town, and she's done really cool things with being at UTSA and Top Scholar. And it shows like the payoff of being really good in your academics, studying hard, and doing what you have to do has paid off for her. And so she's done really well, and she found a lot of growth within this program. We also have Evelyn Villafranco from Rockport. And we have William here from Kyle, Texas. And then we have Bianca from Houston. So you can see we have well-rounded students from different parts of the state. And we also have a beauty queen here, who's also Top Scholar. I'm sorry, a student spotlight. On financial aid. Let's talk a little bit about this. So, with applying for financial assistance and grants and whatnot that you need for UTSA, we have the Scholarship Hub. And I hope that most of you took advantage of that as an additional resource. Those opportunities should be rolling out pretty soon if they haven't already, those notifications. So please be on the lookout. Make sure y'all are checking y'all's email on that. We also have the Distinguished Presidential Scholarship. And so for the Distinguished Presidential Scholarship, you should have been already recognized and offered that award. And if you did, which most of you should have, congratulations. And yeah, so now and forever, a Roadrunner. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? I felt like I ran right through it, but wanted to give you quick highlights about it. No? Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
So I do want to make just a couple of quick points of clarification, then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to separate into those info sessions and panel sessions I talked about with students and candidates being separate. So for financial aid, I do hope all of you have applied for regular financial aid separate from the Top Scholar program. One of the commitments we make is that if you're a finalist for our Top Scholar program, the university will make you some sort of offer. We don't guarantee what level of offer that is. I think everyone here was at a minimum eligible for the Distinguished Presidential Scholarship. And I want to encourage you and just let you know that we will work with you on that package should you be awarded a Top Scholar award. But hopefully you still apply, and we have folks in our financial aid office that will work individually with you if you have questions about that. Today, tomorrow, Tuesday, not the best time to address those individual, what is your individual package questions as well. Just to let you know, it's very hard to do that while we're trying to run a series of events. Yes?
But being a finalist, do you need being here?
Yes, correct. That's correct. So everyone here will have some sort of award guaranteed from the university. And it will vary. It will vary according to everything from what your major is, to what other individual characteristics you might bring with you, what high school you went to. And that's why it's hard to say, here is what we offer everyone who's, not. Did I see another hand? Nope. Okay, so let's take a quick 15-minute break. So please help yourself to the refreshments that you were probably too nervous to have any when you first came in. And then right at 3:45-ish, well, I guess actually we're 5 minutes ahead. Luis is such a good presenter. So 3:40, if we can have the parents back in this room and our candidates in the room just right next door. Okay?